grab a drink, and join the chat. Are you living your first class life? Come chat with me. Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are tuned in from. Welcome to a special edition of the First Class Life Chats. I'm super excited because tonight and tomorrow and Wednesday, we are going to be speaking with some phenomenal women that are sharing their inspiring and powerful stories with you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up to the stage. We have Lily Mae and Lisa J. Crawford, who are some of the co-authors of the fourth installment, First Class Life series. Okay, this is the fourth book in the First Class Life series called First Class Life Volume 2. 10 empowering lessons towards creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Okay, so I know that was maybe really confusing where I said fourth installment, but it's volume 2. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. There's 4 total books, but this is the second edition of the same name, 10 Empowering Lessons to help you create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And so I'm super excited to just join the stage with some of our beautiful co-authors. They are this way. And they are going to share your stories or share their stories and just share some tips, inspirational, motivational insights on the obstacles that they have overcome in their life. All right. So I hope you guys are ready. Make sure that you comment, love, share this video out. Talk to us in the chat because this is discussion between all of us. All right. And we want to know where you are tuning in from. We want to know your thoughts. We want to know all the gems that you are going to catch. And I'm going to quit yapping my mouth and introduce these beautiful ladies. First up, we have the lovely Lily Mae. Lily Mae, tell us who you are, the name of your chapter, and we're going to start hopping right into it.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm Lily Mae. I am a media and marketing strategist. I help entrepreneurs gain visibility and increase their revenue. And my chapter was how to trust God during uncertain seasons. So I know that this compilation is going to change lives, and I'm honored that I was invited to participate.
Yes. And next up, we have Lisa J. Crawford. Tell us who you are, the name of your chapter, and we'll go from there.
Hey, my name is Lisa Crawford, and I am executive coach, and I help employers learn how to treat their employees. So my chapter is the depth of your yes and your no.
Yes. So we also had Monica Reed scheduled tonight, but she had an emergency. So let's make sure we keep her in your prayers. She will be coming in on the Wednesday night edition. So make sure you tune in the rest of tonight, obviously, and then Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for both. All right, so we're going to get right into this discussion. We will start off by, I want both of you ladies to just share a little bit of what your chapter is about because listen, in reading and editing, like y'all had me moved. And so I'm super excited for the release of this book, volume 2. We're going to have a special announcement in regards to the release as well. So Lily, tell us, what is your chapter about?
Yes, so my chapter was about an entire uncertain season that I experienced in 2020. And I know that was pretty much an uncertain season for everyone, right? And there were so many things that happened and so many different transitions that I experienced in 1 year. It was really like mind blowing. And so, as I grew throughout the year and as I handled, each obstacle as it came, instead of me, looking inward and counting on me and myself and my strength to get through this challenging year, I definitely started to look upward, right? And I started to really anchor myself spiritually and put more energy into that so that I could flow with the many challenges and obstacles that the year presented. And as with any challenging season, we're not just flowing through it, we're not just pushing through it, but we're glowing through it, right? We're growing through it. And so on the other side of that year, with so many things and fruits and gifts that was birthed out of the challenge, right? Just like, a pregnancy lasts for 9 months and then the baby comes and there's this beautiful gift after a bit of a challenge, right? And so that's really what my chapter is about, just how to really trust God in uncertain seasons and how to just flow with, your journey, because we can all be guaranteed that we will face some type of uncertainty, some type of challenge or disappointment. And the more that we're anchored spiritually, the easier we can navigate those wilderness seasons. So that is what my chapter was about.
Yes, 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 yes. And there were things in her chapter that even I didn't know. So I'm super excited for her to share some of those tips and lessons with the world about how to overcome those uncertain moments, because we all have times when we don't know how things are going to work out. And so definitely, definitely needed. Miss Lisa, tell us what your chapter is about.
My chapter is about understanding the depth of yes and no. Your yes and no are so powerful. And as women, we genuinely and nurturing, we're nurturers. And so a lot of times we say yes to things. Oh, I'll help you, or I'll do that, and I can handle that. And we just constantly saying yes, but to everybody but ourselves. So I really want to get out there that it is imperative that we say yes to us and really honor and respect our yes to others. And the power of no. No is a powerful word. It's a one sentence by itself, the end, period. And it took me forever to learn how to say no. But once I learned, baby, I learned. So I am very excited to share that, because me saying yes to me has taught me how to leap into freedom. Me saying no to others has taught me how to leap into freedom. So I'm very excited about that.
Ah, y'all, listen. Speaking as a woman, and speaking as a woman that wears all the hats, which I know all the women watching right now or listening, depending on how you're tuned in, know what it's like to wear multiple hats, because we do it day in and day out. It's like as soon as we come out the womb, we're groomed to do all the things for all the people all the time and put our needs last. And what I really like about your chapter is that you are vulnerable. You are very transparent in the obstacles that you went through because you allowed other people to dictate whether you said yes or no. And so I love that you are just bringing that to light and what that looks like when we ignore our own feelings, when we ignore our own purposes, when we ignore our own dreams and goals and inspirations and things like that. And instead, we say yes to the people around us, how that affects us emotionally, how that affects us mentally and physically, and how it shows up in our lives. So, definitely a much needed chapter. So, we are going to bring lovely Lily Mae back up to the stage. If you are just tuning in, you're watching First Class Life Chats, and I need you to share this video out. Put in the comments where you're tuned in from. If you have any questions for these two lovely co-authors, then please drop those in the comments as well, and maybe we will get to them live on the show tonight. But we are having a behind-the-scenes chat because the fourth installment in the First Class Life series is releasing in just a couple days. And so We are talking with the co-authors. I'm just giving you a sneak peek of some of the testimonies you can expect to read in the upcoming book, First Class Life, Volume 2. 10 empowering lessons towards creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And this is definitely the book that you make sure that you want to get, okay? Because not only is it going to provide those first person anecdotes about how to overcome different obstacles. And there are many different obstacles in this book: depression, health issues, life threatening situations, uncertainty and faith, and all kinds of things. So you can definitely connect with one, if not many, many, many of the co authors in this book. But it's also interactive. There are reflection questions to help you go deeper on the lesson that you are going to learn from each one of these phenomenal women, because their stories are powerful. So even if you can't relate to it directly, there's still a lesson that you can take with you, because you never know what's going to come down the road, or you never know who you may come into contact with that needs the exact lesson that you learned in this powerful book. So make sure you are following your favorite co-authors so that you can stay updated on our special announcement, because we are going to be having a free digital preview of the book this Thursday, but this Thursday only on March 17th. So that'll be your lucky charm, okay? And then you'll be able to pre-order your signed copy from your author of choice on Friday. So make sure that you save the date so that you can support and you can get your copy, all right? So let's hop back into this discussion. Lisa, Lily, I would love to know, what was the writing process like for you? Because oftentimes, whenever we are writing about different things that we've experienced, especially when it's on the negative side of the spectrum, it can be very therapeutic. We can often run from our stories and try to hide. We can feel shame. We can feel a lot of different things whenever we are telling those intimate parts of us. So please share with us, what was the writing process like as you were sharing your story? We'll start with Lisa this time.
So for me, I started out writing a whole nother story. And somebody said something to me, and I almost said yes. And I was like, wait a minute, I really mean no. And so that's when I started writing. And it was amazing for me to actually put that out there, because I usually just agree. And I'm like 54 years old. That's not cool. So I really am thankful for the writing process, because it was, as you say, it was very therapeutic for me. And I have always had it in me, but to put it on paper and to reread it, oh my gosh, I was very excited and very thankful.
Nice. Lily?
Yes, I agree. It was very therapeutic for me as well. Because as I, recalled the entire year, I was actually amazed at the, level of challenges that I made it to the other side of.
Mm.
It was very heavy going through it, but sometimes when you get out of the wilderness, you forget, what it was like, right? And so as I was writing it, I'm like, wow, like God really was there with me through a lot. And, I'm glad that I had that spiritual anchoring to get me through it. So I agree. It was definitely therapeutic.
So I have a question for you, Lily Mae. What advice would you give to someone that is tuned in right now and they may be experiencing an uncertain time and they might be kind of struggling with holding on to that faith for one reason or another?
Yeah, my advice would be to really stay in community with other believers, because that is really what helped me and kind of got me started on that deeper relationship with God, was Clubhouse, like coming to rooms like you had a devotional, the Kingdom Business Network had a devotional. So I just stayed in the presence of God through Clubhouse, in community where people were constantly talking about getting to the other side of the wilderness. And I think it's so important that you not go through it alone, that you not be isolated, and that you be comfortable asking people for prayer. Like there were many times that I was asking people for prayer and having other believers rally around me during a time where I felt very vulnerable, very, very fearful. And so that would be my advice, to tap into communities like what you've created so that you can be around other believers to, lock arms with you and keep you strong through that wilderness season. But remember that this too shall pass.
Oh, I love that because it makes me think back to my wreck in 2007. So, for those of you that are new to the show, in 2000, dead and paralyzed after a quote unquote fatal car wreck. And obviously, I made a full recovery, as you can see now. But the fact that you said to stay connected with people of the like mind, of the community, and things like that, and to be willing to ask for prayer, it made me think of that moment because sometimes we don't have the strength to pray for ourselves, or we don't have the strength to keep pushing or to encourage or motivate ourselves. And so when we are connected with people around us that can pour into us until we can find our strength, that can make all the difference. Because like I said, I was brain dead. I was out for an entire week before I even regained consciousness. And so in that week's time, I had my mother and my friends and my family and everybody that was connected to her and to other people. And, I had people that I didn't know praying for me, all because I was connected to certain people who pulled in their groups of people and pulled in their groups of people. And everybody was praying and supportive and, trying to do what they can to keep the morale high whenever, they were still being told that I'm still not going to make up. After we've had all these surgeries, I'm still not waking up. And here I am. So that is just what I thought of as you were saying, making sure that you stay connected. And if you don't have anybody to support you or to pray for you or to encourage you, then it's important that we make ourselves uncomfortable sometime to go out and find those people, because they might not be in your inner circle. Unfortunately, they might not be in your immediate surroundings. And we have to do our due diligence to get out of our comfort zone so that we can find that community that can lift us up and support us during those moments of uncertainty. So thank you so much for sharing that. Lisa, what is a main takeaway or lesson that you want the readers to take away from your powerful story in the newest book?
I would like for them to take away the moment of getting to know who you are. Sometimes we get so involved in everybody else's life and everybody else's needs that we forget that I'm human too. I'm a person too. I have feelings, and my feelings may not be your feelings, and it's okay for me to have these feelings. And so I want them to understand that they matter. You matter. What you feel matters. And what you do matters. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say yes to you and no to somebody else. I don't care what title they hold, whether it's your family, your friends, or whatever. It's okay to say no, because your yes to everybody else will wear you out and send you stress.
What advice would you give to those people that struggle to say no?
I need you to get in a place and get a piece of paper and write down me and them. And in those me and them, write down what you want to do and write down what people are asking you to do nonstop. And you got to cross some things out. Because if you always doing what them on the them side, what they want you to do, your me side is not being taken care of. So it's a self journey.
Mm, yeah, that's very true. And that's easily how people lose themselves. We run into people all the time and they say, I just feel like I don't know who I am anymore, or I feel like I've lost myself. Especially true for women, and especially true even more if you're a woman with children. Not that men don't feel this way, because they do. But I know that there's a different level of pressure placed on ladies. And so, when we get caught up in all of the things that the world wants us to do and all of the roles that the people around us want us to play, then that's how we start to lose ourselves. And so, like Lisa said, saying no and saying yes whenever the yes is aligned with your needs as well. But definitely understanding that your no is a yes to yourself. And sometimes we might have to hurt some feelings, and that's okay, because the people that are meant to be in your lives, they're going to understand and they're going to support your decision. They might give you a little pushback, but they're going to support your decision overall. And then those toxic relationships and the people that aren't meant to be in your lives, they're going to back up because you're not doing what they want you to do anymore. So that is a win-win. It might hurt for the moment, but in the long run, it's going to work out for your good, okay? So, Lily, same question for you, my dear. What is a main lesson that you want the readers to learn from your chapter?
Yeah, so a main lesson I would say would be, to understand that life is going to have challenges, and that you're not the only one. And so in knowing that, then it helps you during your wilderness season to go through it with grace. Sometimes I know I did during my wilderness season. A lot of times I felt like I was the only one in the world that was single during the pandemic and quarantined alone when the world was crumbling down. It felt like, why me, Lord? Why couldn't I have a husband during this season, Lord? It's getting a little scary outside, right? And so I wasn't the only one. I'm sure there were single women around the world that felt the same. And so, there is always purpose in our pain. There's always purpose in our challenges. And so, I mean, I feel like I shared a few lessons there, but definitely know that a lot of what you're going through is not about you. It's about the people that God has called you to serve, and you being able to relate to them and their struggles and their challenges. So sometimes we have to go through it so that we can have a more passionate ministry, because I feel like we all as believers have a ministry. You don't have to be in a pulpit to have a ministry. Like, this is a ministry that Lindsay has created through this collaborative book. And so it's our experience that connects with people. It's our experience that makes us passionate. You can't be passionate if you haven't went through anything, right? And so that would be a few of my thoughts.
Yes, yes. Now, if y'all are just tuning in, definitely make sure you stay put, okay? But after the show is over tonight, make sure you go back and watch the replay so that you can pick up all the gems that are being dropped. And tag some friends in the comments so they can join in. Share this video out, talk to us, let us know that you are here, and make sure you save the date for this Thursday, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, because you guys will be able to get a free digital preview of this book, of this phenomenal book that I know is going to bless your soul and help you to just grow as a person in whatever way it may. So make sure you are following your favorite co-author so that you can get the details, because they're going to release it on Thursday. So you got to make sure you're following somebody so that you can get the details on how to get your free digital preview and be entered into our contest, which we'll share more about that on Thursday, okay? And then afterwards, on Friday, you will be able to purchase your copy from the author of your choice. So again, make sure you are connected to someone somewhere so that you can stay tuned and be blessed by this book. And I'm going to take a moment and show you guys, because again, first class life is a way of life. It's about the quality of life that you are living. It's about shedding away those masks of fear, doubt, shame. The mask that we put on every day when we wake up. It's about being intentional about the life you are creating for yourself and walking in your God-given purpose and creating that living legacy. So we have the first book in the series, First Class Life. And then we have volume 1 of First Class Life, 10 empowering lessons. And you get your lessons from your 10 ladies. And then this one came out last summer, First Class Life devotional. So for those of you with your spiritual walk, even if you're not spiritual, this is still a great book about just making it through turbulent times. And now here we are with the 4th book in the series, First Class Life, volume 2. 10 empowering lessons to create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And we are here with 2 of the 10 authors. So definitely, again, make sure that you stay connected so that you can get the details on how to get your free digital preview this Thursday, St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So ladies, tell us How does your chapter demonstrate creating your first class life? And whoever would like to hop in and go first.
Lily Mae?
Sure. I think when you think about a first class life, the first thing I think of is first class seating on an airplane, right? And so that's being like in the front with a special experience. And it's so crazy because we talked about this in my devotional today. I feel like, God wants us to have an all inclusive experience of Him, right? And what that means is He wants us to experience all of Him. He wants us to experience Him as a healer, as a provider, as a partner, right? And so the only way that we can experience Him in that way is if we have a challenge in those areas. You can only know Him as a healer if you've been sick. You can only know Him as a partner if you've been alone for an extended amount of time. And so when you look at your wilderness season and your uncertain season as, wait a minute, this is a time for me to experience God differently, I think it gives you that ticket to a first class life, a first class experience of God, which is all inclusive and all encompassing, if you will. So that would be my thoughts on how my chapter about, flourishing through uncertain times and anchoring with God during uncertain times is kind of the key to unlock an all-inclusive first class experience with our Father.
Yes, yes. Look, I can't wait for y'all to read her chapter, okay? Lisa, how about you?
So my first class, like you went on a plane, I did the same thing. So going from being a yes man, I was in the back of the plane. Okay. And I was just happy to be on the plane. But as I started to learn that I matter and that my goals matter, every time I created hit a goal or a mark, I moved up a class. I moved up a class. And then as I look back at that, I'm thinking, you know what? I had to go through all of those seats and all of that stuff to get up here in first class. And I'm living my dreams in first class, and my dreams matter. So I am, that was just my interpretation of it. Because back there, the yes man, and up here, you got the woman who makes a decision whether she says yes or no. Amen. So that's where I'm at. I'm in my first class life in my cocoon.
Yes, yes. And listen, I love that you said that because one thing that I point out sometimes is that even if you've never ridden a plane, everybody knows the difference between a first class seat and an economy seat, right? It's
Oh,
just it everybody knows. Like you have not have to have gone on a plane to know that there's a difference and that you want to be in first class if you can and if you are able. And so as much as we like to be in a first class seat on a plane, and that is dependent upon our finances and our ability to pay for those, here's the thing: we put ourselves in an economy style lifestyle of our own doing. Now, that doesn't mean that, we want all of the bad things that happen to us because, things happen to everybody, but we are able to create the life that we desire to live. And it starts in our mindset, it starts in the lessons that we talk about in this book. And we all have the ability to create our first class life style. But we first have to become aware of that and recognize it. And then we have to be willing to do the work because it does take work to create the life that you truly desire. It does take work to get up when you really want to stay laying down. It does take work to heal when you really want to hide from the trauma. And so we have to be willing to do that because once you get to first class, then it's like you don't want to go back to economy. And so I really want to make sure that everybody around the world understands that you don't have to live an economy style of life anymore. It is up to you to make the decisions, to use the tools like this book, for one, to use the tools that are around you and find the support that you need to start changing your life out of economy and into first class. And so that's why I just love this whole movement. I love this book. I love that you guys are a part of it. I am honored to be a part of your journey because this is definitely a movement, all right? It's a lifestyle, it's a way of living, and the whole world needs to know about creating a first class life. Okay, outside of a plane, this is about your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your financial health, your spiritual health, all of the health, because they're all tied into your one human body and they're all connected. So it's important that we understand these lessons. So, ladies, oh, listen, I'm so excited for the world to read your stories. So, again, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you follow your favorite co author so that you can get the details on this Thursday, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, on how you can get your free digital preview of the book First Class Life, Volume 2. 10 empowering lessons for creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Okay. So, ladies, do you have any final words of advice for all of the viewers and listeners that are tuned in today? This time, we'll start with Lisa.
I just want to say, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Because when you make a decision, you got to leap. I leap for my decision. If I say yes to me, if somebody chooses me, that means God chose me. That means I'm going to do it, and I expect for Him to provide a net on my way. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I just want you to just be real with yourself. And if you feel like you overgiving, you just got to check yourself. You overgiving. Why did I do that? Why did I need to do that? What's my purpose in doing that? Let your yes be yes and let your no be no.
All right. Y'all heard it. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Lily Mae?
Yes, I guess my closing thoughts or advice would be to, look at God as a partner. I know many of us that grew up in the South, for example, like myself, we went to church out of habit, but we weren't necessarily taught how to anchor and really have a deep relationship with God, right? And so when you think about a relationship, it requires you spend alone time with that entity or person, right? When you think about a relationship, you love on them, you are an adoration of them, you thank them, right? Like, so we need to look at, our relationship with God, and ask ourselves, like, how can I deepen this relationship? Do I need to spend an hour of time with Him? Do I need to wake up and read the Bible, wake up and soak? Do I need to join Lily's devotional? I have a devotional on Clubhouse Monday through Wednesday. You follow the Glambitious Club on Clubhouse. So, I just challenge you to try to deepen your relationship with God. He's not a magic genie. He is a all-knowing Father, an all-loving Father, and He just wants us to love on Him, to praise Him, to be examples of Him. And if we work on that relationship and deepen that, everything else will fall into place.
Yes, yes, y'all. Listen, please make sure that you are connected and tuned in this Thursday, March 17th, 2022, so that you can get your free digital preview of the fourth installment in this series, First Class Life, Volume 2. 10 empowering lessons for creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Now, this is your personal development resource, okay? So don't just get it and then let it sit on the shelf. All right. You need to get it. You need to read it. You need to reflect. There's lots of space for you to write your answers and go deeper with each lesson, because there's a lesson with every single story. And so, listen, y'all, make sure you are connected. I cannot say it enough, so that you can get the details on how to get your free digital preview this Thursday. And then on Friday, you can order your special signed copy from the author of your choice. So I want to thank everybody for just tuning in with us tonight, and make sure that you stay tuned in with us all week long, because we will be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with 3 more of the authors of this phenomenal book. Okay. So make sure you're tuned in, set your alarms, make sure you invite all your friends, and tune in with us and stay connected with us all week long. With that said, I pray that everyone has a blessed and abundant evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.